I hope that the name of the video that I'm doing is what piqued your interest when I put down ha. I feature this item in another video I did on Doneraile House, which is where I am right now anyway. I'm out in the magnificent, around the parkland, you can see it. It's just absolutely fantastic. Not the best days. Weather-wise, it's just a bit overcast, but it is lovely. It's actually quite warm for the time of the year. We'll talk about those trees in a second and how they got there. But the garden here is built on a design influenced by a guy called Capability Brown. And Lancelot Capability Brown. Capability apparently was the nickname given to him because he was capable of doing lots of things. Apparently, I don't really know. But he has the most magnificent garden designs, which are parklands for the most part. And he would come into an estate which was, you know, like a blank canvas, and he would design a parkland for people who obviously had lots and lots of money. There's only one Capability Brown garden actually in Ireland, to the best of my knowledge, and that's a hotel somewhere up the country. I can't think of the name of it now. But Doneraile Park was designed under the influence of Capability Brown, and one of the things that he used to great effect was a thing called a ha-ha. Now the ha-ha is that wall there. You can see where it is. It's the whole way in along. Now this was one of the old original entrances to the estate. It's a bit fancy because there's a gate lodge and all the rest of it. Look at the gate lodge. I mean, where are you going like with columns like that in a gate lodge for the fella minding the gate? To tell you the kind of money that was here. So the people of the big house would have come in through here, and all that grass in front and the other side of the wall there would have been manicured lawns, manicured by people. Of course, life and labour was cheap at the time. But they would have manicured those lawns. It would have been absolutely spectacular. A lot of those trees would have been here. These are quite old trees. And the ha-ha would have prevented any of the stock, the farm stock, the livestock from getting out and interfering with the lawns. So all around here, all this beautiful, beautiful parkland would have been full of sheep, deer, cattle, and all the rest of it. And instead of putting up a big, gaudy fence, they put the ha-ha. So the ha-ha has a slope. You can see the slope. You see it better if I go at an angle. It has a slope down to it, which takes the animal, if they do decide to come down there, takes the animal down to the bottom of that wall, and they just cannot get up the height of the wall. It's as simple as that. Now, obviously, these were built at a time when, you know, life and labour, as I said, were cheap, and it would have taken a huge amount of man hours to build even this little bit of a wall already. And the one up near the house is even more spectacular. The stonework is phenomenal. But that's what the ha-ha is. And it really is fabulous. It's a feature that if you ever won the Euro Millions, you know the way you're thinking, oh geez, if I won the Euro Millions, what would I do? Well, I would have land like this, and I'd have a ha-ha. I'd have no fence. I'd be looking out over everything, and that's what I'd do. But that's just me. So Lancelot Capability Brown, it's his influence, not his design. And he also would have planted, or they would have planted at the time, these trees. Now that one in front of me there is a lime, Tilia cordata. And another thing that the Capability Brown did was, when he planted a tree like that, he would not have planted just one tree. What he would have planted in was a small thicket of trees. So he would have planted 15, maybe even 20 trees. And those trees then would have been selectively taken out over the years. Some of them would have been still small enough to use and move elsewhere, so the tree wouldn't have been wasted. And what you're left with then is one single magnificent standard tree on its own 2 feet, in its own 2 feet, in its own feet, in its own roots, as a statement in the middle of the field. And of course it gave shelter. It encouraged wildlife. I mean, you can imagine the kind of wildlife that will overwinter inside in that tree. You look at the shelter they'd have, quite magnificent. I mean, that tree is several hundred years old. So I suppose that wasn't their goal really, to encourage or the preservation of wildlife, but it was there, and while it was there, they didn't do anything to get rid of it. They encouraged it, and that was one of the ways. So that's a little history lesson on Capability Brown. If you're around North Cork at any stage, then I would highly advise you to come up here for a walk. Do it during the week. It can be a busy place in the winter. It's a playground for kids. There's loads and loads of walkways that are all, they're all tarmacked and whatnot. So if you had a buggy or a pram, it's ideal. And later on in the year, they will have the deer out. And give a look at that video that I did on the wider park and parkland on Doneraile. It was a bit of fun doing it, and if you give it a look, I hope you'll enjoy it. Give me a comment and a subscribe. And I'm Jim at the Contrary Fuchsia, talking about ha-has. Take care.